Hello, my name is Jen Underwood, and today we're going to discuss embedding predictive analytics in reports and applications. We're going to begin with an overview of introducing predictive analytics, what it is, why you would use it, and how it's commonly used in applications today. From there, we're going to move on to describing the predictive model development lifecycle, what is commonly referred to as the cross-industry standard process for data mining. It's a 5 or 6-step process that you take to develop a model that you would later query or consume from your report or application. And finally, we're going to wrap up and show you how to embed predictive model queries into those reports and applications. So what is predictive analytics? At the very core, it is a statistical science of automatically discovering patterns and relationships to get immediate insights from your data. The key is that it is automatic. There's no human interaction. And typically, it's predicting the likelihood of an outcome. The outcome could be a segment of a customer, maybe whether an activity is fraudulent or not. It may be a value, such as an estimate. It can apply to past, present, or future scenarios. A lot of folks think of predictive and they think about future. However, predictive is often used in real world for past and present behavior. Things like customer segmentation is based on past activities, and fraud is often on a current activity, a current transaction that is happening in the here and now. So why would you use predictive analytics? I've already alluded to it. It's very, very rapid and fast and allows factual, mathematically, statistical relevant information and decisions from past experiences versus that gut feel on the fly. It would take way too much time. There's way too much data and way too many variables to manually analyze and make a quick decision on the spot, or even use traditional statistics techniques to do that. In the example with someone cashing a check, deciding whether or not to cash the check on the spot, to do a manual verification or a hold, or ultimately deny that check needs to happen very quickly. Some other applications that use embedded predictive analytics, Salesforce.com has a plugin that you can put into the application and rank and score or the likelihood of a lead becoming a customer, who's going to be a profitable customer, or credit scoring. I'm sure a lot of folks that have ever gotten a car loan or a home loan can understand what a credit score is. Anticipating customer churn, so your web service provider, your cell phone provider, they have in their CRM applications or customer relationship management applications. There's prediction of sales and inventory values. That's classic forecasting. Folks may be familiar with those concepts. Direct to marketing. Marketing's typically one of the most savviest organizations that embed predictive analytics for things like campaigns and customer segmentation. And lastly, fraud detection. The IRS, government agencies, detecting situations that are truly outliers or truly not the norm. That's what detecting fraud is all about. We talked about the cross-industry standard process for data mining. There's 5-6 different steps. And it all begins with choosing the right question or problem to predict. It sounds simple, it's not always the case. Having the right question that you can mathematically solve or an algorithm can predict is important and a critical success factor. The next step is gathering, understanding, and preparing data that algorithms can leverage. And to give you an example, maybe we want to predict a bike buyer. And in the case with a bike buyer, we may want to know the age, we want to know how many children they have, whether they're a homeowner, if they have cars, all these different variables that may affect the buyer decision. And this process in general is the most time-consuming process. It's the 80% of the work per se, and it's very iterative. You may go back and talk to the subject matter experts and get more information or change information that you're gathering. Think of it like the ETL process in a data warehouse. The next step is loading and preparing data into predictive analytics tools. I'm going to be showing SQL Server Analysis Services data mining and the prediction queries in that particular tool. However, there are many tools that you can apply these same steps to. You could use this with SAP HANA's predictive analytic libraries, the PAL functions. You can leverage this with Oracle data mining. You could leverage this with Pentaho Weka, R, SAS, SPSS. There are a plethora of predictive analytics tools out there, and these same steps you can apply to them. The next thing that you would do is run and evaluate models. And evaluating predictive models, typically what you'll do is you will look at, I want to test different algorithms and I want to see which one has the highest score. Similar to giving a child a quiz. I want to see which child will answer all these correctly, and that's the child that I want to send to the competition. In the case with evaluating models, when you're looking at the score or how well it performs, you're either looking at what's called the probability or the score, or you're looking at what's called lift. Once you've chosen a model and you've found one that does answer your question or problem very, very well, you'll then go ahead and deploy that. And in the real world, those are typically deployed into analytics servers or databases. Then you can go ahead and query those models with embedded predictive queries. So how do I integrate predictive models? Typically, I've mentioned predictive queries a few times. Those are user-defined functions or stored procedures that can be queried to automate those predictions within those applications once a database connection has been established. And what you're doing is passing variables, the knowns, to that data mining model to predict. And in the example given with bike buyer, I'm passing in, I can tell that this person is between 10 and 15 years of age. I know they don't have a house, or it's a meal. You can go ahead and pass these variables in and have the prediction give you back a probability or a score. Maybe you're looking for a cluster, a classification, or an estimation. Some other ways that you can integrate predictive models are PMML, it's called Predictive Markup Model Language, or you can use APIs. I know a lot of folks on here are probably .NET or Java developers and will be familiar with the concept of an application programming interface or even something like a web service to get a result set back. So let's go ahead and take a look at a demo of building a predictive query and getting a result set back. So for this demo, I'm going to show creating a predictive query with SQL Server Analysis Services. However, the process would be really similar with many of the other tools. We're going to look at, we have a predictive model for targeted mailing. We have several different types here. I'm going to pick decision tree. Now I could build a model simply by right-clicking on the data mining model and picking build prediction query. In this case, I want to build one from scratch, which is going to be more real world for you. And there's an option here called DMX query that I can go ahead and select and connect. I'm going to go ahead and choose my mining model, make sure that I'm connecting to the right database, choose the model of decision tree. In this case, I already have a query built. And let's take a look at what makes this a little bit different. What we have here is predicting the probability. That's a function of a predictive query. We also have natural prediction join. So I'm joining instead of a table, I'm joining to the model itself. And I'm going to pass in the input variables, in this case age and number of children, cars, to get the output. So let's go ahead and execute that. So in this case, we have predicted purchase of no, this is not really likely bike buyer, and the score is about 59%, so it's not very strong. If we're to manipulate these variables, let's say 19 years old, no house, no children, and no cars, run it again. So in this case, we do have a predicted purchase, and the likelihood's a little stronger. It's still not compelling. But that's the basic concept of creating a prediction query. So wrapping up. To summarize what we've covered today, we've gone ahead and introduced predictive analytics, what it is, why you would use it, and how it's commonly used in applications. We also walk through the predictive model development life cycle in developing models that you can query and embed into applications. And finally, we showed you how to develop a predictive model query that you could embed into an application. It looked just like SQL that you may be used to embedding into applications today. I hope you found this session helpful for developing smarter predictive applications.